Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It's the 27th of February, 2025. And who would have thought after Monday, I would be back at the gravestone of crypto? 83, 84,000 was the next leg down, which we hit last night, 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And as I said yesterday and the day before, it is not over yet. We have a long way to go down before we break structure and before we need to worry. Now, I have changed the layout of the show today. I am going to be talking about a lot of charts at the beginning of the show to give you what I think, remember, they're only my opinions, what I think is going to happen to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Litecoin, those kinds of coins, because I am not streaming tomorrow. I am making videos tomorrow. There is a fine line between providing content and generating enough revenue to be able to buy microphones, buy cameras, stuff like that, giveaways, all those kind of things. And at the minute, that balance isn't working for us. We're just not making enough. So we have to make more videos and we only have so many hours. So tomorrow I am not streaming, but the Oracle is. He will be streaming about 4 or 5 p.m. Central European time tomorrow. So although I am not streaming, moving forward, we will probably do 6 live streams a week, unless we get sponsored ones, of course. And that will be Monday to Friday and twice on Mondays. That's the plan. Now, we are going to go through an awful lot today, okay? Because all of these charts aren't in the agenda. But I decided, because I'm not streaming tomorrow, it will be Monday before I get to talk to you. And the Oracle will have his lines in the sand to talk to you about tomorrow. So I'm going to give you mine today. Before we begin, though, good morning, Velvet Rope, KB, Shiva, Hidden, and Danny. Welcome to you. I am surprised anybody is here today. I am very, very surprised. Now, we had Bleeding Love yesterday, and today we have They Think It's All Over. And if you remember the 1966 World Cup final, they think it's all over. It is now. In this case, it isn't. We're going to go through why we came down. Now, we didn't really have one reason for why we came down at the start of the week, but we certainly have a reason why we came down yesterday. Okay, so we're going to go through that. We're going to go through the ETF outflows. We're going to talk about Sol. Oh, yes. We're going to talk about Sol. We're going to talk about Ondo launching a new partnership. Massive news for that. We're going to talk about Oklahoma. We're going to talk about, I wrote this really late last night. Oh, yeah, it's okay. The Bank of America. I was wondering what BOFA was. Bank of America, their USD token. And then we're going to talk about Hot Girl. Yes, we are. We're going to talk about her. All of that in an hour or thereabouts. Bottom left-hand corner, we are just over 2,000 followers away from 200,000. Just hit the like button. Just hit the subscribe button. Just hit the follow button. Help us get there, okay? I'm shouting pineapples. And if you know what that means, hit the like and subscribe button. Now then, it wasn't a massive bloodbath yesterday. I'm just going to hit refresh. Yes, there was a bloodbath, but not on all coins. And that caused Bitcoin dominance to move to the downside a little bit. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay, we're going to get onto some charts in a minute. Bitcoin coming in at just over 86,000. I said the bottom was 87,000, 84,000 or 74,000. They were my 3 predictions. I'm allowed 3 predictions. It's my show, okay? You want your own predictions, you have your own predictions. I know KB, I think, has 82 or 83. I also know that there are 2 CME gaps on the way down. There's a big one at 74,000, I think, which is all the way back in, November? So there's a couple of CME gaps. We've taken out a ton of liquidity, and now we have liquidity at 70-ish, 70s, should I say, and then the 100 range. And of course, we're nowhere near either of them. We're almost at a midpoint between them both. So we can go either way. We can go either way. The more we go down, the less I think we're going to go down further. Put it that way, okay? Ethereum's coming in. And again, it's not doing too badly, considering where we are. 23.50. XRP, $2.22. Again, that hasn't fared too badly. BNB, still above $600. Solana, $140. It's hanging on, okay? Hanging on. Doge at 20 cents. The day that goes to a cent, I will be a happy man. Cardano is, again, not doing too badly, 66 cents. So although we've come down, it's not been as brutal a drop as we have seen, okay? So we had the big drop. I expected a bounce yesterday. We didn't get it because Trump came out and absolutely well he does between the legs with the news about the EU. We're going to have a look at that. Gainers then. Cato, Berachain, Stacks is up, Aptos is up, Optimism is up. Lots of Ethereum gainers here. Jupiter is up. Jupiter has a vote. Solo Sky, if you are out there, if you are still alive, you have to go and vote. Vote.jupe.ag today. It's the first vote. It's a stupid vote. Should they change their logo? It's a stupid vote. But go and vote because more votes, more Jupe, more dollars. Multiverse is up. Wouldn't touch that with a badge poll. Wouldn't touch Polkadot with a badge poll either. Or Sandbox. Hyperliquid is decent. Lots of losers as well. Now then, Quant. Yesterday, what was it? $110. It was a good price yesterday. It's a good price today. I don't hold any and I won't buy any because the price action normally doesn't move. Except when I say it doesn't move, it then moves, if you understand what I'm saying. Story has been on a massive, massive rip to the upside. 84% in the last 7 days. It's retraced. Profit taking. XDC looks like a good, a good price for those interested in buying into that. Mantle is down. Ronin, Casper, again. Not many massive losers. Okay? And I'm not going to spend too long on this because we have a lot to go through when I bring up the agenda, that is, which I apparently have closed down, probably in absolute disgust. Where is the agenda for today? Let me get it up. Here we go. Okay, we've got an agenda. Let's get going then, shall we? Remember, if you are nervous, worried, just DM me, okay? DM me, okay? You might be feeling like this monkey, okay? You might be feeling like you've eaten an onion, you've had some garlic, but it's not over. Fear and greed is at 10. Fear and greed is at 10. There are traders who trade the fear and greed index. So they don't trade very often, but they sell when greed goes into the 60s. And they buy when fear goes below 20. We're at 10. The lowest I remember it going, and I'm sure KB or somebody out there will remember, didn't it go to 6 or 9? And I don't remember it ever going below 6 or 9. I can't remember which one it was. But it's really, really low, okay? It's really low. Everybody is bearish. I showed you yesterday, don't play with the bear. Don't play with the bear. Keep the door locked. Keep the bear locked out. Keep your mind still, okay? Emotion is going to shake you out. That's what's going to happen. I have not sold anything in this correction. The last time I sold was 3 days before the crash. I sold crypto 3 days before the crash. I didn't know that was going to happen. And I only sold a small amount of money to go and buy a blender and a few other things for the house. It wasn't anything major. And I tend to do that. So maybe next time I'm going to go and buy a blender, maybe I should let you all know. Listen up, guys. I have bought a heated towel rail today. I've sold some crow and bought a heated towel rail. Maybe my house purchases are more an indicator of dips than anybody else, including the great Kramer. So maybe we should do that. Maybe I should just keep telling you when I buy things for the house. Maybe. Prices move the opposite direction of the crowd's expectations. With retail traders eager to buy crypto dips over the past couple of days, we're continuing to see prices bleed. Typically, we will see a bounce as soon as retailers are no longer interested in dip buying. Again, people buy the dip and it keeps dipping, but it's not the reason. It keeps dipping because idiots keep longing. Oh, it's gone to 86, 87,000, will go up. And then a macro event happens and they all get liquidated. And then another macro event happens and they all get liquidated. Or you have the market makers, they will just chase liquidity. If that liquidity is at 82,000, they'll go to 82,000 and they'll liquidate everybody. So there's lots of reasons why it happens. And obviously, every time Trump opens his mouth, crypto just holds its breath, okay? Because these can happen. But again, we see a bounce as soon as retailers are no longer interested is not the bit I am interested in. This is the bit that I keep trying to tell you about. The price goes in the opposite direction. I said we were going to recover yesterday, and we were ever so slightly starting to recover. And then the EU news came out and we dumped again, okay? We knew he was going to impose tariffs. We didn't know when. Now, the market doesn't directly require those bits of news to do it, but they just use it as an excuse, okay? The EU tariffs should be no reason why Bitcoin goes down $2,000 or $3,000, but it's market sentiment. And when the market is shaky, then these things happen. We talked last week about the market needs time to heal. After the exchange hack, I said that the markets need time to heal. Not physically heal, mentally heal, because they're jumpy. Right now, the markets are jumpy, really jumpy. If Chairman Powell sneezes today, everyone will go, oh my God, he's got COVID, we're going to sell. That's how jumpy the markets are. Now, I also said yesterday that we have had all kinds of terrible news, hacks, pump and dumps. Come on, CoinGlass, don't do this to me. Pump and dumps. Inflation, all of those things. They all happened, right? We didn't break 86, 87,000. We're still at that price. So even though we've had all this negative news and it is bringing us down, it's not bringing us down to the low 70s, which is where we could go, by the way, but it hasn't happened yet. And there's only so much negativity to come out before crypto jumps on the bandwagon of positivity. And we talked about the inflation announcement and the jobs report. They're both going to come out. I think it's today and tomorrow. So we could see that spark the prices back to the upside. Again, the EU tariffs are not a reason for us to drop, other than crypto is a risky asset and people go risk off. The same way that if the jobs report comes in and the inflation comes in and people expect a rate cut, that will cause us to move to the upside. So just bear in mind, you can be the best trader in the world, but if Donald Trump says the wrong thing, you're going to get wrecked. That's why you shouldn't be longing or shorting the market unless you know what you're doing. Now then, longs and shorts, not as high as it was on Monday and Tuesday. I think it was at 1.4 billion. Monday and Tuesday. Today, it is a meager 770 million, of which 600 million are the longs getting liquidated. Okay? This is not a market to play. We went long at 93,500, and we were really happy with ourselves for a week or two. And then we got liquidated. We were only, I think, 10x long, but we got liquidated. I think our liquidation was 89,000, and I think we came down to 88.5 or 88 or something like that. We got liquidated. It happens. I'm not going to say it happens to the best of us, because we are certainly not the best of us, but it happens to everybody. And it wasn't a massive long. It was a very short long, and it didn't happen. That is the risk you take with going long or going short, because if you decide that you think we're going to 72,000 today, and we have a pump to the upside, guess what? You're going to get wrecked as well. So it's not ever a good decision to go long or short, but we shall see. Now we're going to look at these charts. So what we're going to do, I'm going to give you the order. And this is a break to the order of what we normally do on here. I'm going to have a look at Bitcoin dominance, then I'll look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Litecoin, and OM. So they're the charts I'm going to look at. I'm not going to spend a great deal of time on the charts. I'm just going to give you the lines that haven't changed. My lines haven't changed since Monday. Okay, it's now Thursday. So I'm going to go through them. We're going to start with Bitcoin dominance. Now, this looks an awful lot like, let's draw another line. That very much looks like, I think it's called a double top on Bitcoin dominance. And we've come back down to the range that we've drawn back here, okay, which is the range that we think it needs to be in, above 60% and below 61.5%. So around about that range, we expect Bitcoin dominance. So what this means is that Bitcoin has underperformed the rest of the market over the last 2 days, which means Ethereums and Solanas and Cardanos and all those other coins have gained on Bitcoin. And when we want an alt season, we want to see this go in that direction. Okay, now we saw this here, did we not? And everybody was like, alt season is upon us, all hail alt season. And Bitcoin went, I don't think so. Bye, losers, suckers. And then your alts got absolutely bled for another what? Probably a lot of the alts are now down 40, 50%. If I look at something like Ondo, which got to 140, that's performed quite well. That's come down to $1, so that's down what? 40%, say, 35%. So even the best performers are losing 35 to 40%, and the worst performers are down 60 or 70%. But if you have conviction in those alts and your dollar cost averaging in, you should just keep buying them. If you believe in Cardano, XRP, Chainlink, ICP, AVAX, Optimism, Arbitrum, if you believe in those coins and believe in those chains, you should just keep buying them, irrespective of the price. So we want it to break down, but it's back in this range. And believe you me, I think if Bitcoin does recover, we're going to see a move back to the upside. We've touched this a couple of times. We could go back to 63%, 64%. We don't know is the answer. I'm just showing you that we're back in the range that we have drawn. So Bitcoin dominance has retreated a little bit. Now, I made an OG video on Monday, and I don't normally share what I do for the OGs because it's for the OGs. They are the paid subscribers of the channel. Now, I'm going to break that rule today, and today only, because I want to show you something that I explained to them on Monday. So this is why it's no surprise to them what we're doing. And I am sure KB has seen this before. Now, all of these yellow lines, arrows, these are the drops that happen in Bitcoin at this time every year. Not to the day, but to the time period. We have a massive drop here, and here, and here, and here, going all the way back to March 2020. Every January, February-ish, we come down. And I said in another video at the start of January, we are going to have a 20-30% correction in January, and we didn't. We had a flicker, but we didn't have a correction, and now we're having it, and it's at the end of February, so maybe I'm out by a month. But look what happens between the January or the February and the March and April. We have these huge run-ups, okay? You can see them. They're on the Bitcoin chart. I haven't made this up. This is not my drawing. Go and look for yourself. Every Q1, let's call it, we have this correction to the downside, And then we have a massive move up. And guess what? We've just had a correction to the downside. And guess what comes next? The move to the upside. Okay? That's why my $112,000 target on the screen in front of you hasn't moved. Now, what has changed is what all of the other crypto streamers are telling you, which is that we're probably not going to have a left-sided cycle. It's probably going to be October, November, which I have had as my target since last year because I follow the Bitcoin cycle. And yes, we had a top in 2021. Yes, we got there in April, May, but we had the COVID thing and it came down and we didn't carry on. And then we peaked at 69,000. So we drop now, then we pump. That's how it's worked 2024, 23, 22, 21 and 20. That's what's happened. Until something changes my mind, this is still on the cards. Now, if you do a 30% correction from 106,000, and my maths are going to be out, let's say that's 76,000. So we can go to 76,000 and still be within that 30% correction. We can go to 82, to 80, to 78. We can go any level down there, okay? The one thing I think has changed it is the ETFs. I think that's changed it. But it's still a volatile asset. And as we've seen, and I'm going to show you, the ETFs sold off. And I did say months ago, what happens when the ETFs decide to sell? Because that's going to have a massive knock-on effect. They're buying 30,000 Bitcoin a week. What happens if they go bearish and start selling 30,000 Bitcoin a week? We are in big trouble. So don't panic. This is OG content that I don't give to anybody else, okay? And I don't include it in the charts. And you can disagree with me, but you go and you look at January or February every year, even in a bear market, we still came up in the bear market. If you look at the last top that we had, the big top, we went all the way up. And these moves are not small or insignificant. Some of these moves are 60%. Some of these moves are 120%. Now, if you do a 60% move, or let's say a 50% move from here, we are at $130,000. $130,000 if this move happens the way it's happened every year. And I am a cycle boy. I am a patterns boy. You can ask anybody. I am not a trader and I don't do TA. I follow patterns. And until this pattern breaks, this is what I see. Yes, we've gone below the bull market support band. Yes, everybody is crapping themselves. Yes, I am watching streamers almost in tears still talking about Rune, even though Rune is likely to be the first asset ever to go negative, okay? So until this breaks, I'm sticking to it. And that's Bitcoin. Now, in terms of prices, we really don't want to lose 74,000. That for me is the line in the sand. It is 30% down from our all-time high. I'm terrible at drawing these things, by the way. I don't know if I'm going to be able to draw it. I'm pretty crap at doing this thing. Give me a second. No, I'm terrible at this. I've got to find the right key. Anyway, 30% down from 106,000 is about 74,000. That's the bottom line. It also coincides with this top back here. Okay? That's what we've got to hold. Don't know if we're going to get there. Okay? We've had all the news in the world and we're still not breaking. But it can happen. So Bitcoin, worst case scenario, 74,000. But it's a cyclical drop. And that's what I was saying before about the market just uses the macro news to decide what it wants. Okay, yes, we had COVID then, but now we have tariff wars and inflation. Okay, so it doesn't matter how you look at this. You can't, you know, we didn't have Donald Trump, correct, but we did have him in the previous cycle. So we've had a Biden cycle, and now we're going to get a Trump cycle. And loads of people, another thing that comes out is people are saying we should have had, you know, if Kamala Harris had been in power, we'd have $250,000 Bitcoin by now. Maybe, but we'd still have a lot of different macro events. We'd still have inflation, we'd still have Chairman Powell, we'd still have the cycle, we'd still have the inversion of the yield curve, we still have all of those things, whether whoever's in power. Trump's just playing a game of cat and mouse with his competitors, very simply put. Now, bottom line for Ethereum is, for me, 2,150, which is probably, what, 5% more for us to go down. We've broken below this lovely trend line, which is coming in at 2,650. So again, Ethereum for me has been kicked more than most. But as we were saying before all of this nonsense happened, the Ethereum ecosystem is improving in terms of the personnel in charge. We're seeing more of an appetite in terms of its ETF. It's being bought at a more regular basis than it was in November and December. So it's not all over for Ethereum. However, having said that, this chart is terrible, okay? And if we break 2,100, we are probably looking back down towards, and again, I don't care if it's spot on or not, I'm just giving you rough ideas. We'd be back down to this range, which is about $1,900. But I don't think we're going to get that far down yet. I think we'd have some positive news on the horizon. So I'm more bullish on Bitcoin in the short term than I am on Ethereum. Solana, on the other hand, we gave you the bottom for Solana, which I think we said was 132, 130 something. Let's have a look. And again, this isn't a great chart. So we've got this channel here. Okay, this was the channel we were in for a very long time. Where have we come to? Let's have a look. If we zoom in, my eyes are not what they used to be. So we've got $126. That's the bottom line as far as we're concerned to stay in this channel. And if we break below that, then we're looking down probably towards $110, $100. There's a lot of negativity in the press and on X, where, again, people use an opportunity to bash Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, XRP, okay? Cardano is not going to zero, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere near $50, okay? I think that we are going to see, at the end of this bull run, still think we're going to see something in the region of $500 to $600. If we don't move soon, maybe $400. Got to bear in mind, we're going to run out of time. We have the ETF on the horizon. We have institutional adoption of crypto coming, and the BlackRocks, the Ondos are coming to Solana because that's where the users are. So Solana needs to kill off the meme coins, and that's happening. I just want to get rid of that. There we go. So Solana's not dead. Solana's not dead. But again, it's like having a conversation with somebody that just sits in the extremes when you listen to these influencers, you know? I am still waiting for George. George told me we'd have a $1,000 Solana by the end of last year, and we got nowhere near it. Okay? These crypto influencers, they work at the extremes. And when I mean extremes, I mean they work on unrealistic times. Okay? Another video I made for the OGs was about M&Ms and ET. And every time we get to a price, they put another M&M down to bring you further and further along on their little journey. All the while, those M&Ms that you're eating, that's their bag of crypto that they're selling to you. Okay? By the time you get to the door of the house, they've got rid of all of their M&Ms, and you're sitting there with a belly full of M&Ms going, what's going on? They're not going to go to $1,000. It was never going to go to $1,000 last year. They were talking about $2,500 to $5,000 this year. That was never going to happen. Now we're going down. You're seeing people talking about $40, $50, $60 Solana. If we see a $40 or $50 Solana, one of two things has happened. The entire market has collapsed into a bear market, which is bad for everything. Or B, there is a fundamental structural problem with Solana. Now, I don't believe either of those two things are true. There is a vote coming out where Solana will slash its emissions by 80%. So the inflation in the Solana ecosystem will come down by 80%. If that passes, it's even more bullish for Solana, because the inflation over time eats away the dollars and the euros in your pockets. The inflation in Solana over time eats away the value of your Solana. So if we can slash inflation in Solana, it's a positive. Now, this chart, I think, is going to hold at $126. That's my bottom line. That's 10 or 12% further down from here. Okay? I think it will hold. But if it breaks, this is, for me, a buying opportunity, and I will be buying Solana. I'm not going to be buying Ethereum. I am going to be buying Solana at that price. Anything below $125, $120 for me, I will buy Solana. Okay, that's a great opportunity. Now, if it then only goes to $400, $450, and I'm buying it at $110 or $120, I'm going to 4x my money in a year. What more do you want? Okay, so Solana can come down further, but again, all of these things go out the window if the CPE data and the jobs data come in positive, and then we have a bounce. I don't think we've changed the structure of the market just because we've had Trump in power. Right then, moving on. This is an unbelievably bullish chart. Let's get this going. Right then, okay. So this is Litecoin, and I've not just done this for Tariq, but I have just done this for Tariq. It's above the bull market support band, unlike many other things. Not only is it above the bull market support band, look at how many times it has checked in at the bull market support band. Happy days. RSI, not massively overbought. Happy days. Price is moving up. Obviously, it's got levels of resistance, which are coming in at about, 140, okay? We're sitting at 131. Why is this doing so well? And the simple answer is ETFs. Now, you'll say, but Solana and XRP have got ETFs. Yes, and they've had the price run. XRP was at 30 cents. It's now at $2.20. Solana, way back in the day, was below $100. It's now at 140, and it went as high as all-time highs. So Solana and XRP all had their time in the sun, and now it's Litecoins. Okay, I'm not expecting this to break down because I'm expecting this to get ETF approval, and it's had no bullish news on Litecoin in 4 years, and now this is bullish news. So of course it's going to move, and it's going to move further and faster than Solana and XRP. A, it's got a smaller market cap, and B, it's not had any prior pumps. I think when Tariq was buying this, we were probably started talking about Litecoin here, which would have been about $50. So Tariq is up a 3x. Not as much as had you bought XRP, you'd be up a 7x, but still a 3x up. And we get the approval. We go somewhere north of 250. Maybe we go to near 300. I don't think so, but let's say near 300. 50 to 300 is a 6x. Brilliant return. And again, Litecoin might move even faster than that because it's a smaller market cap. And people, how do you describe Litecoin to people? You say it is the silver to Bitcoin's gold. So Litecoin has always been called silver, while Bitcoin has always been called gold. That's how the comparison has been made. And when you explain that to retail, they'll go and buy Litecoin. Very simply put, it has a 4-year cycle. It has a max supply. It's a fork. What's not to like about it? So Litecoin for me is positive. I don't think we're going to break down. If you're looking to accumulate it, it's a decent price now. Anything between 105 and probably 140 is a good price to get in my humble opinion. unless we absolutely tank, and then everything I said goes out the window, and we might as well wrap up. I might start making quiz videos. You know that. That's what I might do. Anyway, I've not looked at chat for a while. Let me go and have a look at chat. Good morning, Tariq. Good morning, Kishan. Mags, good morning. Good morning, Jan. Welcome. So, again, less panic. Now, this is the mantra chart. I've taken everything off it, okay? Because I want to show you what we were talking about up here. And that is that I was saying this is not a good time to buy this token. Do I like this token? Yes. Is it in a really good new industry? Yes. Real world assets, tokenization. Is mantra. That's the name of the project. I said, please don't buy it up here. Wait for it to retrace. And where I want it to come down to, I should have kept the original chart. I want it to do this or this. So they would be your buy prices for me, which is about $5 and about $6. That's where I would get in. However, it's a long way from its bull market support band, which is that green and red line that's moving up here. Okay. Now, it did check in, and then it kind of did this. So, what I'd like to see is this start to move up, and at some point it do this, and then go higher. That's what I want to see. I want it to test, because when you have a coin that just shoots off into the sunset, guess what? It comes down as fast as it goes up. You need, if you take Bitcoin, for example, Bitcoin does this, okay? And it goes up like steps. So when you fall down, you hit the steps on the way down. Very simply. Bitcoin, we've seen the steps, we've seen them already. I had 87,000. I think somebody else, maybe KB Brogan, had 84,000. Then we've got 74,000. Each of those is a step. Now, take this chart, for example. It's done that. What happens when it does that and it doesn't form any level of support? It just comes straight back down again. Not quite a pump and dump, but the hype has driven it so high that when it comes down, traders or bots look at it and say, what level of support have we got? Well, we've kind of got one there, and we've got a massive one here, right? So where would it come down to? Worst case, it comes down to this level here, where the bull market support band is. Either way, it's a really good coin that got really excited, and it ran off, and it fell over, and it scraped its knee, and now it needs to come back to its mum. And there's its mum, and there's the really sad coin, and it's thinking, right, I've scratched my knee, I need to go and see me mum. That's how to think about it, right? It's ran off way too quick. It, you know, look at how overbought it was. It happens time and time again. Overbought, this needs to cool off, come to the downside, and have a cool off. $4, $5, around that price. I don't think you're going to get it for 10 cents anymore. I think bull market support band, if we just mark that very quickly, is there, which is about $4.20, $4.30. You get it at that price, it's an absolute steal, in my opinion. So that's the charts. That's all the charts I'm going to cover. I tried to put some prices in based on previous price action. Again, I don't know what's going to come out of the mouth of Chairman Powell. I don't know what's going to come out for inflation. I don't know what's going to come out in the jobs report. So all of those things are going to affect the price. And we don't know, because this Trump EU tariffs just came out of the blue last night and brought us down from, I think we went from 88 to 83. And again, Bitcoin shouldn't be affected by it, but it's currently a risky asset, so it was sold off. And market uncertainty, how the market's going to react to that. So again, we had a bit of a kick in the teeth. We came down as low as 83.7. Trump said the decision had been made and will be announced very soon, with tariffs to be imposed on cars and all other things. And that's the thing about Trump. He has no specifics in his language. Things will be huge. They will be great. They will be amazing. These are great people. These are wonderful people, okay? Now that works on a really, really macro level, okay? We need to work on a deal with China. We need to work on the imports and exports with China, okay? He's fine at that level. But the level below, and I said this a few days ago about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to be great. We're going to have Bitcoin, make Bitcoin great again in America. Everybody's going to have Bitcoin. Let's go. There's no facts at all in what he says. That's fine when you're trying to hype up a crowd. But when you're on the other end and the negativity, and you say, we're going to put tariffs on cars and things. So is that going to put tariffs on European wine? So is the European wine sector going to be affected? European cheese, European meat, European financial services? What are the tariffs going to be on? We don't know, because he uses things like "and all other things." And it's a problem that he has, not us. But it's our problem because it kicks crypto and doesn't help the narrative. Had he said, we're going to target cars, cheese and wine, that's what we're going to go after, because that's where there's a disparity, I don't think the markets would have reacted as badly. The same with Mexico and Canada. We're going to impose tariffs and then doesn't put any limitations on those tariffs. And that's why he's dangerous to the markets. He's volatile because he creates the volatility by creating uncertainty. And that uncertainty leads to sell-offs. So the European Union is going to be hit with a 25% tariff from America. That's why we've dumped. That's where we are. Okay, and the diamond hands, or the diamond-handed boomers, should I say, they have also decided that they don't want their Bitcoin anymore. They want to sell off their Bitcoin. They've had enough. Go away. Done. Yeah, they haven't done that, but they did sell off. The thing about ETFs is, I think there's going to be a lag. And I think ETFs being sold require somebody picking up the phone, calling their financial advisor, that financial advisor selling the BlackRock ETF. That isn't instant. Our markets are 24/7, 365. The stock market is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m, Monday to Friday. Okay, it's outdated. It's based, if you think about it, why can't you buy Tesla stock at 9 o'clock in the evening through the stock market? Because it's closed. Why is it closed? Because we still have overpaid traders selling it. You can bank 24/7, pay bills 24/7, watch films 24/7, listen to music 24/7. But guess what? You can't use the stock market, the most important thing in the world, according to Men in Suits. You can't use it 24/7. So I think there's going to be a lag between the negative impact of the hack, the tariff wars, inflation. I think there's going to be a lag between that and the markets. And I think that might cause us to go into the weekend even more down, possibly. So they sold $540 million worth of Bitcoin on Monday. That was their sixth highest total. Again, record outflow from US spot ETFs. To be honest, this is largely part of the course of a volatile ETF category. In general, the way ETFs grow is a sort of 2 or 3 steps forward and 1 step back. We covered this time and time again. You tend to see 8 to 10 green days. That is, remember, working days. So that is almost 2 weeks of green days in crypto for the ETFs. And then you will see 1 to 3 days of red days. And hopefully we're only going to see a couple more, because I believe now people are going to look at Bitcoin and they're not like us. Well, maybe not like you, probably a little bit more like me given my age. And what they will do is go, you know what? Bitcoin was 106,000 at Christmas to 86,000 today. If it goes back to 106,000, I'm going to make 25%. That's the way these old grey people think. We don't think the world is ending because we've had a 20% correction. We don't get as negative as the younger people do, because we've been on this roller coaster before. The 2008 stock market crash, which they've made films about, I lived through that with a portfolio. And at the time, people were saying that the financial structure of the world had collapsed. That's how severe it was. And it went on for weeks. And our portfolio at the time didn't take very long to recover. I think it took 6 to 9 months to recover. So even in the worst financial crisis that we've had in the last 30 years, it only took 6 to 9 months to recover. Crypto is an accelerant. It's got accelerants because it's 24/7. It's faster. It's not going to take 6 to 9 months for us to recover from this. It might take 6 weeks for us to recover. We could be at all-time highs in 8 weeks' time. It's just a lot faster than traditional markets. And we think in that way. We think now is a good time to buy Bitcoin at this price. If Ethereum goes below $2,000, that's a good time to buy it. You know, Litecoin is only $140. It's silver to Bitcoin's gold. We're going to go and buy a bag of that. That's how old people think. They don't think in meme coins. They think in those assets are going to go up over time. I'm going to buy them and I'm not going to sell them for 10 years. And those people are the people we want in crypto. We don't care about BlackRock. We care about the people that want to buy and use Bitcoin for its true purpose, which is a store of value and an inflation hedge. Solana, price sell-off accelerates. Will traders defend the 130 support? That's probably the line that I've got on my chart. 126 I've got. It's in the golden zone. Price is down 9%. Solana got kicked a lot more than anybody else, simply because all of the crap coins are being listed on Solana. So Libra, Trump, Melania, all on Solana. It got kicked a lot more than anything else. Then we had the hack that kicked Ethereum. So Ethereum and Solana took the blows more than anybody else, in my opinion. But that's short term. And if it blows over, the long-term reputation of Solana and Ethereum will be fine. The issue comes if Yi launches the Kanye West token. Number one, don't buy it. Absolutely don't buy it. You're going to get wrecked. And number two, I will be absolutely livid if exchanges list that coin. Because they listed Melania, they listed Trump. I believe had Libra not crashed so quickly, they would have listed that as well, and they didn't. Because it crashed before they could. And I think they'll list Yi if it doesn't crash straight away. And I'm going to be livid. Because what are we learning as an industry when we list pump and dumps? It's just insanity. So, will traders buy below 130? I think they will. I think kind of the area that I said, 100 to 120 is an incredible price. 100 to 110, I think might have said, is a great price for Solana. Go and buy that coin. I have hardly got through any of these articles, have I? We're going to move on then. Something a little bit more positive. And I've got a video coming, which I am preparing at the minute. I've got a video on Maple coming, okay? And I'm going to compare it in some instances to Ondo. They're not direct competitors, as far as I can see. They're in the same industry, but they're not direct. Ondo, we have liked for probably since September, I would say. And I waited an eternity to talk about Ondo because I thought the price was moving up. A little bit like Mantra we showed you before. I thought the price was moving up too quickly. And then I said anything under $1, that would be my price for Ondo. And I think now it's at 97 cents. So that's the price to buy it. We said Mantra under 90 cents was a good time to buy it. And it's now up at nearly $7. So Ondo joins MasterCard's multi-token network, offering short-term US Treasuries for a 24/7 yield. Very, very complicated words there. Ondo has two products. It has USDY, a yield-bearing stablecoin. $100 of USDY today will be worth $104 in a year's time. That's it. That's all you've got to understand. Also has a treasuries product, which I can't remember the name of. I'm sure it's in this article. That's the one that's joined this multi-token network. Now, this is a big deal. There are so many other things going on at the minute in crypto which are being hyped. But you've got to see through the noise, okay? You've got to zone the noise out. Everybody with any amount of money who has looked at blockchain technology and crypto and tokenization understands that crypto can be used, blockchains can be used to improve their business and remove friction. That's the core crux reason why blockchain technology will work. We've said it before. Why is Maple going to be a success? Why is Ondo going to be a success? Why is Mantra? Why is Goldfinch? Why are they going to be a success? Because they remove all the friction from the system that allows them to accept people with $1,000, $5,000, and $10,000 that currently need $250,000 minimum to invest in a product in traditional finance. So if you think about all of that extra revenue opportunity there for you, you understand why they want you to have those products. And themselves, they will move their treasuries. Why would you have $100 million in cash in the bank that's charging you 1% a year to have it there? It's pointless. If you digitize it and move it onto the blockchain and store it in a wallet, paying you 4.5% interest in USDY, you're up 5.5%. And at this moment in time, you're outstripping inflation. So every treasury of every medium-sized company in the world should be looking at Ondo's USDY, every one of them. And if I worked in any company worth any salt, I would be, and they were US dollar denominated, I'd be saying, why have we got cash in the bank? We just stick it into Ondo, earn 4.5%, and when we need the cash or we need to pay somebody, we just ask for their wallet address and we send it them, and it's there in 2 minutes. We don't go through a bank. We don't pay $50 in banking fees, okay? There is a whole world out there outside of meme coins which needs blockchain tech to make the world spin that little bit faster and make more money. There we go. It's the OUSG, Ondo's short-term US treasuries. Now, again, these AI articles, they're getting really good. I must admit, because I don't like to read the waffle. It gives us all the facts. That's what I want. So again, this is fantastic. Imagine a company that sticks $100 million into USDY or OUSG, and it sticks it in there on a Friday afternoon, and it takes it out on a Monday afternoon for whatever reason. It takes it out. 3 days, 12 days a month, it's sitting there earning yield while every other employee is at home making hot dogs on the barbecue, drinking beer by the pool. The money's working. It doesn't currently work in the bank it's currently in. This is why it's a big deal, and it's also the next shift for not just institutions but also states. Oklahoma advances Bitcoin reserve legislation as other states pause. Now, there was about 15 or 20 of these states looking to add a Bitcoin reserve to their portfolio. I think about half of them have failed so far, classifying it as too risky. Oklahoma has gone through 12 till 2. Now, what does this mean? We've talked about the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve for America. That's great. They're going to buy a million Bitcoin. That's going to just suck all the Bitcoin out of the market. Happy days. Prices go up. We're all rich. Now, that's not the only straw that's going to break the camel's back. If states such as Oklahoma, Ohio, can't remember what the other ones are, they're looking at it as well. If 4 or 5 of them buy Bitcoin, I don't think people appreciate just how much money these states have got in their pension funds, in their reserves. They've got billions. They go out and collectively buy some of these assets. It's going to add maybe another 100,000 or 200,000 to the stack that's in America. Now, if that happens, there are only 1.2 or 1.1 million Bitcoin left in the supply chain. That's on exchanges. That's it. So if you take it all out and you stick it into the strategic reserves for states and America, Argentina does it, Uruguay does it, then Brazil does it, then the UK does it, and China does it, and Russia does it. Where does the Bitcoin come from? Where does the Bitcoin come from for everybody to own the amount of Bitcoin they want? There's only 21 million. Satoshi's is gone, so there's only 20 million. There's only 1 million on exchanges. So if we're looking at a 3 million, let's be a bit more realistic. If we're looking at a 2 million demand for Bitcoin just off countries and just off America, where does it come from? Because Michael Saylor is buying it like it's going out of fashion. I tell you where it comes from. It comes from the price going up. The price goes up. Think toilet paper during COVID. Think eggs in America right now. They had bird flu. They had to put a load of chickens down. Egg prices are now 5 times higher than they used to be. Bitcoin is not going to have a price under $100,000 for much longer. It's going to blow up. And all of these naysayers, Peter Schiff, Gary the Economist, all of these naysayers don't understand it's a digital form of value, store of value. How much money does it cost your country to look after the gold? Why does your country have 150 kilos in gold? It doesn't do anything. It barely goes up in price. And what does it do? Support your currency. Okay, fine. You swap all of that gold for Bitcoin. It goes up in value further and faster. It's outperformed gold over a very long period of time. Hasn't outperformed gold much in the last, I think it's a year or 9 months. I can't remember which one it is now. But anyway, short term, anything can outperform anything else. Long term, Bitcoin outperforms gold. But you're not just getting rid of gold, you're getting rid of the security guards, the building, the safe. You're getting rid of everything. The headache of looking after gold is gone. And now you need a very secure place to store your ledger, your Bitcoin. Now maybe you use a custodian to do that, whatever it might be. Money is a pain in the backside. Cash, physical cash, is a pain in the backside. There's fraud. It costs money to print it and make it. It costs money to look after it and replace it. It's a pain in the backside. Get rid of cash, go cashless. Everything goes digital. It's a terrible thing for certain people, old people especially. But Bitcoin is digital gold. It will replace gold at some point, I believe, in certain places, and then it will go, because gold will then lose its value. And that's further off down the line than this. But the point I'm trying to make is, at some point, Bitcoin is going to blow up. And it's not going to go to $20 million a token yet, probably 50 years from now. But it's going to go a lot higher when people buy. Now then, Bank of America. I think I'm going to run out of it's Bank of America. BOFA, we'll call it. Stablecoin. Now, if banks are going to launch stablecoins, then they're going to be moving your money, or allow you to move your money onto the blockchain, and vice versa. At the minute, and one of the reasons I found Maple, and I did find Maple, and one of the reasons I found Ondo was, what is your plan when you sell your crypto? What are you going to do with it? Are you going to put it in your bank? Are you going to put it in cash, physical cash? Are you going to go and buy a house with it? Are you going to go and buy a car with it? What are you going to do when you sell your Bitcoin? Let's say it gets to 150,000 and Ethereum gets to 8 to 10,000, Solana gets to $500. What do? Do you sell it all? Okay, so now you're sitting on, let's say, $100,000 in fiat, in USDC, USDY. What do you do with it? Because every day you leave it in fiat, inflation is eating it. You need to make it earn you money. That's why we've got USDY. That's why we found you Ondo and Maple and things like that, because it's a place you can put your money and earn a yield from it. But if your bank, such as Bank of America, suddenly gives you a BOFA address, you can send your $100,000 to the Bank of America and it will be there in 5 minutes. If you then go into their own version of the stablecoin yield and it pays you 3 or 4%, your money's in a bank, which is what you've always wanted, and it's safe, which is what you've always wanted. And then in the future, when Bitcoin comes back down to 70 or 80,000, you think, right, time to get back in. I'm going to go and buy a Bitcoin. And then off you go and you buy yourself a Bitcoin, and the money comes straight out of BOFA into Bitcoin. The friction, which I mentioned before, has gone. At the minute, everything that goes on in the banking system is friction. Financial friction, time friction, KYC friction, it's all friction. It's not helping anybody. In this day and age, banks are like dinosaurs. We've moved so far past banks. I don't even think about my bank anymore. So the key here is, when banks start to have stablecoin, and I don't believe, by the way, that we should have 5,000 stablecoins called after each bank. I don't think we should have Barclays GBP and HSBC Euro or things like that. I think we should have a currency denominated stablecoin that all the banks agree on. That's where I think we're going to go. So they're going to launch their stablecoin. They're going to connect it to their digital tools. They're going to offer you a yield. They're going to tempt you back. That's what they're basically going to do. And I don't blame them at all. Right then, last bit. The last article of the week for me. And that is, very quickly, does anybody remember this girl? She launched a coin. Well, she didn't launch it. Her advisors launched a coin called Hawk. And she's ruined her entire career with this coin. Entire career has gone. I don't know how much money she made out of it, but she did have her 15 minutes of fame, and I would go so far as to say she'd have had more minutes of fame had she not launched this coin. So she had a meme coin called Hawk, Hawk, and it went live. And then it went up to a $490 million market cap. And then, like a meme coin does, it came down 93%. So what did it come down to? It came down to about a $20 million market cap. Now, who do you think made all the money on this coin? Her team did. Her team made all of this money on this coin. She's then done a interview with somebody saying how she messed up. Okay. There is no... Was it CoffeeZilla that interviewed her? Maybe. There is no foundation whatsoever for a meme coin launched by a celebrity. And because there's no foundation for a meme coin, and when I mean foundation, I mean there's nothing there. It's just a contract address, a supply of tokens, and then a demand and a supply of it. She launched the token. She made about $15 million or $5 million, I can't remember which, out of that token. And then she disappeared with the money. You have a responsibility to yourself to not be an idiot. Do not buy Ye. Do not buy Lil Nas. I'm going to show my age now. Do not buy Vanilla Ice. Do not buy Earth, Wind and Fire coin. Do not buy the Beatles coin. Do not buy any coin associated with a celebrity. Don't buy a coin from anybody whose face you've ever seen on TV or voice you've ever heard on radio. Don't do it. Don't buy any of those coins. You're going to lose all of your money. And that is how I like to end my streams, by telling you not to lose your money. And I try every day to tell you not to lose your money. That is the end of the stream. Thank you everybody so much for coming. I am not back tomorrow. I am back on Monday. I've got loads of videos to make. I'll be back on Monday. The Oracle is back tomorrow at 4 or 5 o'clock. I can't remember which. So you won't see me till Monday. But thank you, Jan, Tariq, Kishan, KB is in there, Shiva is in there, Mags is in there, Danny is in there, Hidden Agendas is in there. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a great weekend. Remember, dips are there to dollar cost average into. And yes, we may go lower over the next few days, but we will come back. And it is always darkest before the dawn. So just stick to your guns. Don't paper hand. Don't panic. Take care.